The 2025 Cadillac Escalade, an object of dreams for many, rappers, housewives, questionable businessmen. In this video, I'll talk about what's new for 2025, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it. The Escalade attracts various groups of people, and it's one of the most important, if not most important, vehicle in Cadillac's lineup, so they're not sleeping on it, and for 2025, they made some changes. Now, from the outside perspective, the changes are pretty subtle. We received refreshed front fascia with new headlights, new color and wheel options, so typical stuff that manufacturers do when they refresh their vehicles. The most significant difference can be found inside. If you like screens, you will feel right at home. We got a new 55-inch display from the Escalade IQ, new dashboard design, and some other styling changes which we're gonna talk about in a second. Let's start with some technical stuff first. The Escalade is obviously a body-on-frame construction available in two wheelbase variants, standard and long. It features a multilink suspension front and back, combined with either coil-over shocks or optional air springs and magnetic ride control adaptive dampers. As of engines, unfortunately the inline-6 Duramax diesel is gone, and we only have a 6.2-liter V8, which in most models makes 420 horsepower. I said in most models because the amazing Escalade V gets a 682 horsepower supercharged variant of that engine, but that's a subject for another video. Transmission-wise, all models get a 10-speed Hydra-matic automatic that was co-developed with Ford. Rear-wheel drive is standard, and four-wheel drive with a 2-speed transfer case is a $3,000 option. As of towing capacity, rear-wheel drive models can pull up to 8,100 pounds. For four-wheel drive models, it's 200 pounds less, so 7,900 pounds, which is still less than, for example, Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Lastly, let's talk about pricing. It starts at around $90,000 for the entry luxury trim. We're off to a good start, entry and luxury, wow. And tops at 135 grand for fully loaded models. Our tester, a Sport Platinum, is priced at around $125,000. Now, before we talk what it's like to drive the refreshed Escalade, let's take a look inside and talk about the interior space. Inside the refreshed Escalade. Now, Cadillac's flagship had always good outside presence, but the interior was average at best. But that changed with the 5th generation, where the interior was vastly improved, especially in terms of materials used. And it has gotten better with the facelift. I mean, the attention to detail is great and the cabin is pretty impressive. We get a good mix of high-quality materials like leather, fabric, wood or aluminum, and everything is well put together. For the most part. There are some squeaks and rattles here and there, but hey, what's an American vehicle without those, right? Now, when the current generation Escalade came out, it already had some of the best tech among full-size luxury SUVs, but now they took it up a notch, giving you more screens and more distractions. Okay, so the new 55-inch display literally dominates the whole dashboard, so let's talk about it. Ahead of us, we have a pretty customizable gauge cluster, allowing us to switch from classic gauges to a map, AR camera, or optional night vision system. To the right, we have an infotainment display, which is controlled either via a touchscreen or a controller in the center console. It is a Google-based system similar to other GM products with a pretty logical interface and Google applications that you can download from the store, such as Waze or Spotify. And if you like using for projection, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are still here. Right below, we have a smaller display which supplements the infotainment and controls climate and other vehicle settings, such as the seats or driver assist. So something that you previously had buttons for is now on the screen to make your life harder. Great. Lastly, there is a passenger display which lets you project stuff from the HDMI port, browse the internet, or play YouTube or Hulu videos. Honestly, I haven't met anyone who finds it useful, but it does wow people, and that's what Cadillac was going for. 36-speaker AKG audio system is pretty okay. Not at the level of Bowers & Wilkins in Volvo or BMW, but after messing with the EQ and getting the bass down since it's very bass heavy, you can get a decent sound quality out of it. Now, the center console is massive, offering a good amount of space and cooled storage under the armrest, same with the door pockets, and the overall usability of this cabin is pretty high. The cargo area is spacious, especially after folding all seats down, so one thing you will not complain about in this thing is the space. Now, the seating position. Typically for an Escalade, you sit high and get a good command of the road, making you feel like you're driving a semi. Heated and cooled front seats are very comfortable. They can accommodate basically any body type as they have adjustable bolsters. And to make long trips even more enjoyable, you can pick different massage modes. Moving to the back, you get two adjustable captain's chairs in the second row. They're manually operated in most models, which is great. Less things to break, and you feel very comfortable back there. In the middle, you find climate controls, charging ports, and a household power outlets. And there's more screens, one for each person, which basically mimic what the passenger display up front can do. You can also get executive second row seats, which give you massive center console with foldable tables and more advanced seats with massage function. Getting in and out of the third row is pretty easy. You can adjust the angle of the seat, and being 6'1", I had no issues fitting back there. We also have USB-C charging ports and climate vents, so Cadillac didn't forget about third row passengers. Well, that was the cabin of the refreshed Escalade, so let's get it on the road now and see how it drives. Okay, driving the refreshed Escalade, the definition of American luxury. Now, I have a dilemma. We are on our favorite back road, but the pavement's wet. It just rained not too long ago, so I'm thinking, should we talk about driving dynamics? Why not? Let's put it into sport mode, because yes, the Escalade has one. The drive mode selector is right there. Kind of hard to reach, but that's fine. There's no manual drive mode per se. We can put it in L mode, which is the low mode, and we can use paddle shifters that are mounted behind the wheel, but they're more of a suggestion for a car. It takes a good 2 seconds, 3 seconds for it to do anything. The downshifts are a bit quicker, but yeah, this mode is pointless, and that's fine. It's not an Escalade V. All right, let's go back into drive and take some of those corners a little bit more aggressively. Yeah, the Escalade is not made for that, but one thing I have to say is that we do have a good amount of mechanical grip. When we switch the car into sport mode, the suspension lowered itself and the damper stiffened up, since we have MagneRide and AirRide equipped in our tester. I gotta say, I'm not scared to go a little faster through those corners. It's not something that you want to toss around and is going to put a smile on your face, but you know what? The car seems stable, and that's how it should be. Now the engine, I love it. Ford and Jeep, this is what you put in your full-size body-on-frame SUV. You put a good V8 that delivers power in a very smooth, effortless fashion. In our tester, we have four-wheel drive. Granted, we're in rear-wheel drive mode right now, but we can also get some extra grip. We have 4 high, 4 low if we need. And the powertrain is truly a highlight of this car. The V8 works very smoothly. It has a nice V8 growl that we all like, and it works very well with the 10-speed automatic transmission that GM co-developed with Ford. The transmission is super smooth. You cannot feel any shifts. It is also very quick to respond. Like, boom, the car knew what gear to go into, and there's no any unnecessary gear hunts. So yeah, from a luxury perspective, when we drive this thing, we feel pretty good. We feel like we are driving an expensive product. Let's go into tour mode, the equivalent of comfort mode. The car is gonna raise itself. The dampers will be a little softer. It's not a day and night difference, but the car does a better job absorbing road imperfections. Now, of all body-on-frame full-size SUV, the Escalade, in my eyes, is the most comfortable one. We have 24-inch rims on our tester, which take away some of the comfort. There is that bounciness that's associated with body-on-frame constructions, but it's still totally acceptable. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind if you're in the market for a full-size SUV is that the Escalade, it's not going to feel as refined as something like a Mercedes GLS, BMW X7. So you buy this thing because you want that old school body-on-frame construction. You buy this because you want to have more space than European rivals offer. But if you really want to have a nice, comfortable ride, well, I'm sorry. We gotta face the truth and say that the Escalade is not gonna be as comfortable as unibody constructions. But the cabin is quiet. We have laminated side windows up front, and you can eat up miles in this thing. You don't have the sense of speed. You can go really fast without even realizing. The sitting position, super high. We have a good command of the road. The visibility is also fine up front, to the sides. So yeah, I mean, it's a very, very good car for $125,000 as tested. I would pick something European, and no, not because I'm a Euro car guy, but because objectively, all the full-size SUVs from Europe are better. But the Cadillac is pretty high up, and we also have very good technology. Super Cruise, the best semi-self-driving autonomous system. It does automatic lane changes for you. It keeps safe distance between you and the following vehicle. You can truly ride hands-free on many highways in the US and Canada. Just make sure you keep your eyes on the road, because if you don't do that, the car is gonna remind you. And you know, there are times when we take their eyes off the road because of all of those screens. They are a distraction. They're more of a gimmick marketing move to sell you this car, or truck, or an SUV, whatever you wanna call it. But yeah, from a tech standpoint, this is basically on the same level as its European rivals. So with that, let's head into the final thoughts and summarize this thing. Summing up the refreshed Escalade. From a luxury standpoint, this thing is amazing. It has great tech, pretty decent ride quality for a body-on-frame construction, very spacious cabin, but my European mind still cannot comprehend why you would get this over something like an X7 or a GLS. The unibody constructions offer better ride quality, they're more comfortable, they have better fuel economy, and they offer as much space as the Escalade does, but on the other hand, do you need all that stuff? Anyways, if you guys have any questions, drop a comment and I'll answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.